Hello everyone, welcome to this video of Study the Bible with me. My name's Michael and my lovely wife Sharon is back there operating the camera. I used to say running, but she ain't running, she's sitting still, but she's operating it.
Well, let me tell you, that'll be the day when you see me running, right?
All right.
Hello, everybody. Good for you to be with us tonight.
I want to go to Proverbs chapter 29. Proverbs chapter 29 and verse 18. And when I was a kid growing up, I was in a private Christian school, and they had various signs around the church and around the school. And I remember this verse was on one of the signs, but it didn't make much of an impact on me until a few years ago. I heard a man preach a short message on this, and all of a sudden I thought, gee, this really is a lot more interesting than what I had thought. Proverbs verse 18, where there is no vision, the people perish, but he that keepeth the law, happy is he. All right, let's take the second part first. The person that keeps the law, and we talked about this in the last video, the word law is used to cover several different things in the Bible, but the law of God, which is based on the law of love. Don't covet, don't lie, don't steal, honor your parents. Jesus said that greatest commandment was to love the Lord your God with all your heart, your mind, your soul, your being, and love your neighbor as yourself. And he said that on those two hung all the law and the prophets. So the man that keeps the law is happy. Not just happy, but I believe the person that keeps God's law will have joy in their heart. Happy comes and goes. Happy can be very fleeting. Happiness is based on the moment, on whatever satisfies your senses or your desires at the moment. But joy abides, joy stays, joy takes root and will fill your life. And now the first part of this verse, where there is no vision, the people perish. And I've seen that in a lot of churches nowadays, that there really is no vision, or their vision is something like the social gospel. They're good at doing a lot of outreach, feeding the poor, clothing the poor, taking care of the homeless. But that's not really the vision. The vision is to save the lost. That is the most important thing. That is what Jesus sent us for. He said, stay in Jerusalem till you be endued with power. Then you can go to Judea, Samaria, and the othermost parts of the world. And the reason was to spread the gospel message. That is the vision. But the man I heard preach on this a few years ago said that the opposite is true. Where there are no people, the vision perishes. And I think that's why we have so much lukewarmness in today's church. The people are missing. The people are missing, and there's nobody to carry out the vision that God has and that God gives to the pastor. And that's why it's so important that no matter what happens, don't get discouraged. If you have to leave your church, leave, but find a church, find a body of like-minded believers who think like you, who desire God the way you desire God. Anything less will not leave you fulfilled, and the vision will perish.
Can I chime in for a minute?
Mm-hmm.
What, when you do that, when you go to church, you're loving God, you want a place to go worship and praise the Lord and be fed and grow. Well, you're also getting into community. And there'll be those that will laugh when you laugh. There'll be those who cry when you cry. When trying times come. And the community is so important for a person to have. That's what Jesus aims for us. We're never meant to be an island off to ourselves, isolated.
Not permanently, but we have to remember that John, the apostle, was isolated on the Isle of Patmos. He had no church, he had no community, but God came to him in a special vision. So both are needed. We need times alone with God, and we definitely need times with fellow believers. Another place in Proverbs it says, as iron sharpens iron, so one man sharpeneth another. We need that. We need to bounce ideas off each other.
Yeah.
We need to follow each other's leads. We need to listen to what somebody else is saying because God will put that into our heart and use it for our benefit too.
I want to add this too, Michael, that when we do find ourselves alone, say you go to church and you go home and you're single, or, and Lord, I know this. I've spent those single years, so I understand that.
We both did.
Yeah, Michael did, I did, and there's quite a few lonely single people out there. But when you find yourself in that situation, Jesus is enough. He is enough.
Exactly. And sometime we'll share a testimony. Sharon and I, we each had a similar way of being alone with God, and then He put us together.
How about you guys write us out some questions? We would love, and I'll get there in front of the camera.
Yay!
Yeah, and we'll answer those questions. And I believe that would be a good idea.
Mm-hmm. All right. Well, until next time, let me say this too. We are at 1,400 views for the whole series and 202 likes. And I'm not trying to get that plaque to hang on the wall. If it comes, it comes. If it doesn't, it doesn't.
Right.
But these numbers are very encouraging because the devil does come along and say, you're really not achieving much this way. But these numbers are encouraging to us. So thank you. Thank you very much for those numbers. We really appreciate that.
That's right. Thank you, everybody. And I'd like to thank you for watching.
All right. And we'll see you next time.
Bye.
Goodbye.